Hello again, everyone, and welcome to Falls Count Anywhere here on the Rhode Island Broadcasting Network, live every Wednesday at 5 right here on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and on Twitch. Thank you guys so much for joining in and tuning in. This is Erik Dunn. I'm once again alongside the legendary Tony Jones, and I do mean the legendary Tony Jones. And um, I believe Junior, Mr. X Junior, might be joining us at some point during our program here. And hopefully, if that happens, we'll get an update from him regarding a local promotion and some training schools around him. And we might even get an update on his father as well, as I've talked about the last couple of shows, that his father's cancer came back. So we're hoping to maybe get a positive update from him and his health. I do also want to apologize on behalf of myself and my dad, Edward Dunn, from the incident that happened 2 weeks ago that will not happen again, especially under myself and under Ron's supervision, the man that is behind the scenes here at RIB, just running the show, running everything, this whole station, this whole company, whatever you want to call it. We are definitely smarter than what we did, and should I say, we are wiser, and talking sometimes is the biggest tool that we have when it comes to broadcasting. It can be our greatest, attribute. So I also hope everyone out there had a tremendous Fourth. Hope everyone was safe, and I hope everyone had a good week. A lot happened for WWE that we're going to break down on the second half of our program here. Money in the Bank had a tremendous premium live event. Took place in London, England, back on the 1st. I'm going to break that down for you guys alongside Tony. And we're even going to take a look ahead to even what we hope to happen for SummerSlam, as some inks has already been revealed on their blueprint, so to speak, here. And we're going to go into some AEW and even some Impact. We're going to look over Slammiversary. I know that big pay-per-view had a huge night, had a huge, interesting turnout. And, this will all be coming at you throughout our time together. So that being said, I'd like to inform all of you at this time that this broadcast of Falls Count Anywhere is the exclusive property of Rhode Island Broadcasting for the uses of our audience, and any publications, reuses, or redistributions by anyone is not prohibited and is given the express consent to be shared and is greatly appreciated. And once again, I'm alongside my man here, Tony. Man, have I missed you. I've missed him for a few weeks. But yeah, Tony, I figured we get into Summerversary. I heard it was a great pay-per-view. I heard it was a big night for the company. And it was, I want to say, their 21st year since TNA Impact has been a part of the wrestling world as a company. And, I think it's pretty evolved pretty nicely when you think about who was on the card for Slammiversary. I mean, I personally think that you will be able to dissect this better, but I mean, there were some people that were getting these pushes. I think they were not getting for some reason, which was stupid. But I think Impact's starting to make a turnaround at just the right time. What do you think?
Yeah, Summer and all the shows that they have coming up are fully stacked. Plus, they're out on this constant tour of, like, July 1st, they were down in Australia. They're going to be heading up to Canada. Then they're going to be, like we talked about a few weeks ago, they're going to have their live TV taping here back in New York. So it's just, they're constantly out there. Of course, the only issue is that, like we talked about a few weeks ago too, events seem to fall on the same weekend or about the same amount of time, and it's
Sure.
like, as a professional man, can you really keep with hours and hours of content? Now, I'm the biggest wrestling fan out there, and even I have a hard time keeping up sometimes with, like, everything's going on, But yes, it's going to be coming up on July 15th, and then they'll stick down there for the next taping, together, which I think makes a lot of for the company, but also as a ticket holder too. You can buy these group tickets where you can go to all these tapings at once, which for a smaller federation, I think it is key to get some budget seats.
Oh yeah. I think it's safe to say that they're making an impact, aren't they? Pun intended here. So
yeah.
I figured that maybe you and I could take a look at this and maybe like go down like the line of the card, because I think that the main event for Slammiversary is for the Impact World Heavyweight Title. Nick Aldis, who was known as Magnus, against Alex Shelley of the Motor City Machine Guns. I want to say. I believe that Leo Rush is also sided over with Aldis, and he might be going after Chris Sabin's X Division title. Like, I just thought that maybe we could try to just like we do for WWE, maybe just like run down the line here, run down the card, and maybe give our thoughts.
I love when they kick things off. It sets the tone and the pace for the rest of the broadcast, which is
sure
an old WCW trick. WCW with the light heavyweight division or the tag team division, and they'd really set the pace for that high impact, quick, fast matchup at the beginning, and then you'd have your big hosses, your big men the size of dinosaurs, more towards the end of the show.
Yeah, no kidding.
And I think that's going to be the same situation. Trinity Fatu, recently signed, so they're working hard to push towards the Knockouts champion going on too. And then I don't know. It's interesting. I like the concept of the digital media. As someone who's been involved in digital media for ages and ages, but it doesn't seem to be getting the interest that great idea. I think it's interesting, but Joe Henry is going to face Kenny King for the Impact Digital Media Championship, and that seems to be are the least excited about, and the belt that people are the least excited about. And I think that there is an opportunity to use that. You could use it across platforms. You could defend it across platforms, kind of like WWE used to do with the 24/7 title.
Yeah,
and
that's exactly where I
nobody
was
seems
about
to be
go
interested in that poor little digital media title. But yeah.
Just a side note, Impact is so hard, it's knocking out Tony's audio. Yeah, we've had some difficulties with this earlier. Sorry, Tony. I know you're getting a little bit of a hard knock here, but I guess it is what it is, right? But
that's digital.
I think what we can look at
digital media for you. Maybe I deserve the digital media title.
Well, I don't know if I go that far. I mean, digital media is different than actual social media, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's the same thing. I don't know, and I really don't care. But but I was kind of going to compare that to the 24/7 title. I just think it's just another title that's like hard. That's kind of like the hardcore title. I mean, it's just something to keep everyone's mind off of the world heavyweight title and put their mind on something else. Like, I think it's just a stupid attempt. I mean, when I look at this, Tony, I mean, I don't know. I personally think that the main event for this card is the right main event. Alex Aldis, who is known as Magnus, versus Alex Shelley of the Motor City Machine Guns for the World Heavyweight title. Think about it. I never thought both members of the Motor City Machine Guns would be world champion. That's pretty freaking cool when you sit back to think about that. Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley are now both world champions in this company. Nick Aldis is a guy that went from the literal pits of like despair in the NWA when it was rebuilding up again. He held that championship for God knows how many days, how many years. And now he comes back to Impact looking to get that name. I mean, there's a lot of respect between them. I know that for a fact there is. But I think that when you think about it, when you look at it from a perspective of like, for WWE, some guys that should have gotten pushed from TNA didn't get pushed. Some guys that went to TNA got pushed that didn't get pushed there. I mean, it's like a different dinosaur. You know what I mean? Like it's like a whole other animal. You can't really figure out, what way is it going to move, what way is it going to pounce on. You know what I mean? It's just like it's honestly like a whole other creature if you really think about it. Like it's just not something I could just sit there and be like, oh, okay, now I know how this is going to work. No, you don't. Nothing in this business even comes close to being expected. You have to expect the unexpected, and I think unfortunately that's where we are right now. And I think with Impact, I think they still got a long way
Which
to
a
go,
perfect
but I
example.
think the main event's gonna be interesting.
A perfect example of what you just said too is the fact that Bully Ray will be in action and in tag team action at Slammiversary. Something that man, people love to, as much as a solo competitor and a world champion, people just love to see him in a tag team and in tag team action.
Yeah,
It's kind of a typecasting type situation.
right. Because Bully Ray, in my opinion, is a tag team specialist that, basically, in my opinion, helped create the way for tag teams in this industry. I mean, think about it. When it was the World Wrestling Federation, who were the tag teams that really exploded in this industry to not just build this company from the tag team perspective of the tag team division, but how did TNA get branched out to creating that? Because you had the Dudley Boys.
Yeah.
Then you had the Hardys. Then you had Team Extreme. Then you had Edge and Christian. I'm just naming. I mean, you had the Rockers, Mario Jannetty, Shawn Michaels,
and you had them.
I mean,
and with the Dudleys and Edge and Christian, you had them all where a lot of times there'll be one very strong tag team, and they'll kind of dominate up against a bunch of jobbers and a tag team. But an opportunity to have all those great tag teams like that did spark a lot of interest actually in tag team wrestling, where in the past that was kind of today it would be the match you fast forwarded to, and in the past it would be the match you got up to go get a snack for or went to the little boys room during. They really brought tag team wrestling to the forefront for a while there.
Personally, I think there's still a few matches in this company, like WWE, where I can look at and be like, okay, bathroom break. Excuse me. I mean, we all could use that now and then, right? Like, you have a few matches we can like go and get a beer, go and get some food, go to the bathroom, or hell, even have a conversation and forget about the match.
Yeah.
But also, side note, in case you're wondering, I just yawned. That wasn't that what you were saying. And unfortunately, I'm about to get called a Goodyear, but I don't care. Tiredness is part of the human body. It happens. Okay. No disrespect at all.
It just means you're working.
Well, trust me, I got up very early this morning to work. Believe me. Just as a side note, before we continue with Impact and get into a little AEW with CM Punk, because I got to get to that. Our good friend Kenneth Schofield, who's been commenting frequently around here, said, when do you think Roman is dropping the belts? We're saving that for our WWE talk on the other side of our commercial break. We're definitely saving that. Because the truth is, Kenneth, if you could just stay tuned and stay put to find out, you're going to love the answer. Just stay tuned, my friend. Just be patient, please. But, it's just, it's honestly just interesting, Tony, the comments that we get here sometimes. But that's also what I also want to bring up to you guys as well, that we're also available on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch, on top of us being here on Facebook. It's every Wednesday at 5, folks. So tune in, like it, share it, and be a part of our fan base. Just try to get more involved with us. Because every week we bring up-to-the-date information on AEW, Impact, and WWE. We are up to the nose And even though it's every week, once a week, we bring up to the date and we're accurate. That's the one thing about us that that separates us from everybody. Look at who's to my right now. We have a legendary wrestling promoter that actually knows what the hell he's actually talking about, what the hell he's doing. Like Tony
I
Jones.
know we're going to get to it in a couple minutes, but most of our predictions were right. You know, you can't beat that. I mean,
no kidding. Right? Like, that's something else that we're going to dive into on our other side here. That's how rare do you see broadcasters' predictions of a wrestling pay-per-view actually be close to almost 100% accurate? Almost. It's
getting
rare.
the sports book around here, make some money.
I honestly don't gamble or bet, but if that keeps up, then honestly, I'll go in half with you and we'll split the winnings. All right, I'm not gonna go full on by myself here, so you're gonna have to help me. You know, I mean, you make more money than I do right now, so I mean, you know, you have to help a guy out a little. Yeah, but also, if you guys want to help pay for that, you can. We also make money by getting bits donations as well, and your bits and your shares and your likes not just better our show, but it drives in revenue for our station, for our broadcasting unit, and company as a whole to better us and who we are, so we can give you guys up-to-date information on something like this. And, you know, Tony, I just want to get to AEW for a second and bring up CM Punk, because we've been talking about him for a little bit. He made his return a few weeks ago after being gone for 9 months from an injury and a suspension, a surgery, and getting expelled here, practically from Tony Khan himself. He comes back on a new show on Saturdays for AEW on TNT. It's a brand new show. So he's on Collision now. He finally beats Samoa Joe. They had a long history after 18 years. They finally settled it. Punk got the win on him. But it's in the tournament of Owen Hart. How many people can actually say that they would not become a professional wrestler if it wasn't for people in the Hart Dynasty, like Owen Hart and Bret the Hitman Hart? Owen Hart. Like, do I need to say anymore? Owen Hart. Tony?
And just before that, the amount of people that Stu Hart actually trained to become wrestlers, you know, along with his kids, and when they had the federation before they sold it to WWF, I mean, you could bloodline in a dynasty. That's that's still going today with Natalia and some of the other Harts are in Major League Wrestling and out on the independents and out on the independent scene up in Canada. So that's still, it's still going strong, both on the independents and in AEW.
Yeah, I mean, we already know about Bret the Hitman Hart. I mean, his career should not have left WWE. Unfortunately, behind the scenes between him and Vince, there was a lot of backstage politics and drama that led to financial disagreements regarding him getting resigned for his contract. Hence, the Montreal Screwjob, and him literally spelling out the words. And in case you're wondering what I'm spelling here, it's WCW. I mean, I don't think you could look at that and be even less discreet. If you're spelling out the letters of your competitor, we obviously know where the hell you're going. You know what I mean? It's not rocket science here. Anybody from back in '97 could look at that and be like, "Oh yeah, he's gone. Yeah, you know." But Tony, it never should have happened in the first place at all. He should have stayed and been able to stay with us. Unfortunately, Vince didn't want to open up his wallet to give the money that he would give Stone Cold Steve Austin to pay Bret. And in my opinion, they were probably the two hottest in this company besides Undertaker and Shawn Michaels. Those were the four horsemen of 1997 that kept the company afloat. Someone.
Vince McMahon didn't want to open up his wall, and Ted Turner had an unlimited budget. So, but that's the situation that led to, unfortunately, Bret the Hitman Hart getting knocked out for real, concussed down in WCW. I mean, at first they didn't know what to do with him. He was kind of just floating around a little.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that he sustained legitimately from Goldberg, and that screw job, I know those two have buried the hatchet since then, but that screw job set that all in motion when you think about it.
Right, but it's not just that, Tony. I mean, we could see the writing on the wall. It was contracts like that when he went to WCW that was the reason why that company went out of business. It would never match up WWE's potential. It never could, and it never would. But they took that money and they used it wrongly. They put it behind guys like Diamond Dallas Page, Sting and Booker T, Hulk Hogan, the NWO, Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, even Rey Mysterio. They were good entertainers, wrestlers, even Bill Goldberg in this company, but none of them could ever live up to the wallet and the basically grapefruit size of WWE as a whole financially. They could never hold up, which is why Vince McMahon bought that competition now and bought it in 2001. So, I'm sorry to go far back here, but I'm just making a point. WWE had almost a monopoly back then, but AEW's taking out a chunk now. Well, I don't think it's that big of a chunk. I mean, WWE is going to reign supreme for many more decades to come. There's no way Tony Khan will ever overtake the throne of who's the most dominant wrestling and entertainment company in the world. That's never going to happen. But anyway, Punk coming back, I thought it was good to have him back. It sounds to me like he wants to be more of a leader than a martyr or a follower. But there's just a lot of people throwing hate at him, Tony. A lot of people still hate him. But the truth is, love him or hate him, he's one of the greatest workers to ever be in this industry. The work he puts in to entertain us and perform the way he does, I don't call that an entertainer. I call that a professional wrestler. I mean, he's not perfect. He's screwed up plenty of times. But we can think back a dozen years ago to the pipe bomb and say, you know what? That saved his career. If he didn't blow that pipe bomb out of the water like that, he would have never had the career he has now. Never. And, I think for Punk right now, the momentum's on his side. But Adam Cole and MJF, what the hell is this? Like, why are they teaming up in something as stupid as this? Like, why hasn't Cole become champion yet? Why isn't Cole world champion? He deserves to be. Tony, I don't know. But, I mean, do you feel the same way? I mean, do you feel like Adam Cole's going to get his shot to be world champion and actually win? Well, he's had two matches and he's lost.
And that's the thing with the expanded time slots and the expanded shows. I mean, even though Collision is largely based off of CM Punk, that adds more opportunities for guys like that to come up and have title defenses at different times and hopefully go over and win a title. But he's, well over. I mean, the only thing I can think of is because he has such a large history with Ring of Honor, they're trying to develop that. He wants to develop Ring of Honor more, do more with that. So maybe it's a situation where they want to bounce him back and forth with Ring of Honor. But I mean, he seems like he should have a belt soon.
Sure. I mean, Adam Cole should be getting this, but But honestly, I feel like I'm tapped out on both of them right now. I mean, I don't know. But Tony, the truth is, nothing will ever match up to WWE. I don't care who you are. I'm sorry. WWE is going to be Supreme El Supremo for many decades going forward. And speaking of that, Tony, guess what? When we come back, we got to break down our predictions for Money in the Bank and even the surprises. And I couldn't believe the surprises we had.
Yeah.
Because I was I fooled like a fiddle. I was gullible out the ass. I really thought I was getting pranked on. I was getting my eyes and my mind played with. Nope. The surprises, two of them, were probably two of the most pleasant surprises I've seen this year that I think is going to bring some interesting qualities back to the company that could have been gone to AEW. So on that note, we're going to take our only break here. And when we come back, we're going to recap Money in the Bank. Tony and I will give the recap of our predictions, go over the entire card, well, how many we got right and wrong. But we're also going to dissect every match as well. And we're going to give our thoughts on that entire night, as well as the crowd from London and how they controlled everything that entire night.
Yeah.
And potentially the reason why, unfortunately, WrestleMania won't be coming there, but it would be a banging WrestleMania if it did. And I think we'll also try to debate that as well. And on top of that, we got a little bit of some rumors that we're thinking about giving you guys for SummerSlam and where our thought process is with all of that. And we'll be going over Money in the Bank. And we'll even be looking ahead to SummerSlam and even giving some thoughts on what we hope we'll be seeing at SummerSlam after a word from Lighthouse Productions Rhode Island and Road to Love Wedding Services, and also from a word from our Rhode Island broadcasting station. You're listening to Falls Count Anywhere here on the Rhode Island Broadcasting Network. I'm Erik Dunn alongside Tony Jones. This is the only bill that we have got to pay. Sit tight and do not go anywhere.
If you're looking for an entertainment company to help you with your event of any kind, feel free to check out Lighthouse Productions Rhode Island. Providence-based company serving all of New England, providing you entertainment needs in the areas of sound, lighting, photo booth, photography, videography, drone videography, monograms, slideshows, and of course, DJ sound. As a special bonus, we also have wedding officiant services through Road to Love Wedding Services in conjunction with Lighthouse Productions to provide you all of your wedding needs. Don't need a wedding? Fantastic. You need music or a reason to have entertainment for a party of any kind? We can handle all budgets and all sizes and all different types of venues. With COVID, there's 100% money-back guarantee for any type of cancellation and rescheduling needs. Check us out at lighthouseproductionsri.com. Lighthouse Productions Rhode Island, your entertainment source for all of New England.
Welcome back to Falls Count Anywhere here on the Rhode Island Broadcasting Network. Erik Dunn here alongside legendary my man Tony Jones. For those that was just listening to that, I apologize for the audio not being quality. And for those that have heard that ad advertisement before, it there really hasn't been an issue. But unfortunately for this one, it is. So I'm going to give you guys that advertising right now. And Tony, if you could oblige me for a second, just so that way you guys can really know what that was. If you're looking for an entertainment use for a party or for a wedding of any kind, feel free to check out Lighthouse Productions, Rhode Island. My dad and I, Erik Dunn, we are a Providence-based company based out of Providence, Rhode Island, and we specialize in the areas of sound, lighting, photo booth, photography, videography, drone videography, monograms, slideshows, and of course, DJ and sound. As a special bonus, we also have wedding officiant services through Road to Love Wedding Services that's in conjunction with Lighthouse Productions to provide you with all of your wedding needs. You don't need a wedding? Fantastic. If you need, though, for an event or party of any kind, we can handle all budgets, all sizes, and all different types of venues. Even after COVID, we still have a 100% money back guarantee for any types of cancellations and for any type of rescheduling needs. For those that are interested in looking for a free quote to plan your next party, your event, or even a wedding, contact my dad, Edward Dunn, at this email, YOUAREMYDJ, all one word, that is you are my DJ, at gmail.com. And you'll be connected to my dad, who will give you all the information that you need. He'll set up a Zoom call with you, set up a conversation with you through the email, and it'll help you get everything that you are looking for. Lighthouse Productions, Rhode Island, your entertainment source for all of New England. Personally, I think that was better than the ad. Sorry about that, Tony.
Nice job on the live read. I'm too far off topic, but I was just reading I was reading information today about advertising and media and how live reads are way 100% better than. So you're ahead of the curve once again.
Well, the funny thing is, too, I don't even have a script, Tony, but the truth is, I've heard this commercial for God knows how long with 990WBOB.com, because we both broadcast there, and that's been the advertising for I'm Done with Sports for my show. So I've heard this so much now, it's basically emblazed into my memory, like word for word. So, let's just say that as well. But I also want to take this chance to even give this to you guys as well. To let you guys know, too, about me at WBOB. For all of the up-to-date information on the Red Sox, Patriots, Celtics, Bruins, Providence Bruins, and even WWE, feel free to tune in to I'm Done with Sports, which is powered up every week, except for certain holidays, on 990 WBOB. So myself, Erik Dunn, for 16 minutes goes over up-to-date information on those subjects, and there's some laughter, there's some fun in there, there's some humor, but no matter what, whether they suck or whether they're doing great, we always have excitement doing it, and I always have a thrill knowing it's working towards my dream. Sponsored by Road to Love Wedding Services and Lighthouse Productions, Rhode Island, I'm Done with Sports, currently live every Wednesday night at 6, and also podcasted every Thursday morning, every week, here. Not just with Rhode Island Broadcasting, where you can see me, but hear me on 990WBOB.com. All right, now that we got that kiss-ass stuff out of the way, let's get to what they're really here to talk about. Sorry, but the truth is, Tony, everyone knows where they can find you. You're everywhere. I'm kind of isolated. You're scattered, I'm isolated. You know what I mean? So don't take that as any offense, because that's just how good you are. All right? Because you're very good. But WWE, it's finally time to break it all down. And, it was interesting seeing Money in the Bank be live out of London. Excuse me. What a crowd. Am I right?
Yeah.
What a crowd that controls everything. That had WrestleMania feel all over it. Like, I've never heard a crowd do whatever the hell they wanted, and this company could just go with the flow and adjust. Even when they're in the ring, they could just adjust to the crowd. Think about this for a second, too. They were singing some themes that I'm going to get into when I talk about the surprises. Word for word, just blaring it, screaming it, just exciting it so much. Just hyping it. So, Tony, on the card, for what I'm seeing right now, and we'll go through this in order. The men's Money in the Bank ladder match. It wasn't what a lot of people thought it was going to be. And it wasn't the person I thought I was going to see win. I picked LA Knight, and I was wrong. It's looked like it's gonna be more of a mid-carder that might actually get the United States title, which I'm not that upset about. He should win something of a title in this company. But it was Damian Priest, Tony. Senor Money in the Bank. Damian Priest of the Judgment Day. Besides Rhea Ripley being the women's world heavyweight champion, now holds the other card of this company. He controls the pace of what title is going to him, if he gets it, and where, for up to a year. We already know he's going after the world heavyweight title because he's not going to dethrone Reigns. We already know that. But I really thought that they were going to listen to the crowd and get LA Knight that briefcase, but I guess it just wasn't meant to be.
It was interesting to see just how popular England too. You know,
Yeah.
it was and I've been following him for a long time. Again, he came up in Impact, and he was out on the Independents for a while. Man, that crowd in England was red hot. It was also interesting to see with this crowd attitude. A big spot would happen, and they'd pan to the crowd. The crowd would kind of collapse. You know, and you don't really see that here, where people kind of give that kind of respect.
Right.
I thought that was cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that's always interesting when they have like their own uniqueness here. So Tony, so before we continue with Money in the Bank and going down the line here, I like to welcome in our other man in the booth, Mr. X Jr. Junior, what is up, my friend?
Not much. How are you?
Junior, what is
up,
my?
Sorry, I'm a little late.
Yeah, it's all right.
But had some problems with the internet where I live.
That's all right. So I just wanted to see before Tony and I continue with WWE, if you wanted to give us a update on the training school that you were talking about, and also please tell us, how is the condition of your father right now with his health, please?
My father is good. Well, I mean, I guess he's doing as good as he can. He just started chemo and radiation this week.
That's awesome.
My in-laws are so-so because, as I said the last time I came on, we were approaching the day of when my father-in-law, the original Mr. X, passed away.
Yeah.
The last way to carry on his legacy, which was July 14th. So that's literally right around the corner. So, you know, my in-laws, that part of my family.
I know it can't be easy.
No. And then 2 months later, you know, my mother-in-law joined him, also from cancer. So yeah, you know, it's been almost actually you can say 1 year already since the original Mr. X passed away. And
wow, I am so
sorry.
And
I remember there was a few different podcasters that did something in his tribute, which I had appreciated, not just me but the family, a year ago. And then there was a couple of promotions that also did a show in his memory, like AWL, the American Wrestling League, which Tony's ring announcer for, and
that's right.
And DJ, and then XUC, which I believe that was Tony's first show at XUC. Who he's also ring announcer, commentator, DJ, man of all trades, and not just for those two. He commentates. I know ring announces for a few promotions now, I think, right, Tony? But anyways, you know, XUC also did a tribute, which both theirs and AWL's is still on the internet. I forgot what AWL called it. I think they also called it the Mr. X tribute, like the XUC did, Extreme Underground Club. Which, speaking of the Extreme Underground Club, not sure if Tony brought it up or not, but they just did their live show back in front of fans. It was an all right turnout for the fans that did show. From what I was told, I wasn't there, but I was told it was good. From people such as Tony, Maniac Mike, and Ronan Lavelle. Sorry. Yes, I remember those three. hit me up, said, "Hey, Mr. X, Junior, you missed a good show. It was a good show, so I can't wait to see it out on YouTube so I can watch it."
Yep.
But anyways, but yeah, getting to the training school, and before we do that, I also want to say thank you for asking me about my family and my
Yeah,
father.
of course.
Um, but yeah, like I say every time when I'm on, if people are looking to get into professional wrestling, whether if it's as a referee or a wrestler, there's many schools out there. Like if you live like towards the western part of Mass, like in Springfield, there's BCW, Bay State Championship Wrestling. They have a Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. I mean, they're all over social media. But they have a training school. If you live in Springfield and stuff, look them up, hit them up on Facebook, see what time their schools are, because I'm not sure what time they do their trainings and what days. But
Yeah, it's all
just
good.
go to their Facebook, look them up. Again, also too, I think somewhere like towards the Worcester area, I've been
Yeah.
told Beyond Wrestling has a school too now. Again, don't know what days or times. Again, it's something you'd have to look on like Facebook, or maybe give them a call if you know where their establishment is in that area. Just go there in person. And then around here, where we're from, in like the southeastern part of Mass and Rhode Island, again, you've got Showcase Pro Wrestling over in Woonsocket on Main Street. The last I knew, it was every Mondays and Wednesdays. Then you had NRG, New England Ring Gladiators, over in New Bedford. And if I remember right, I think theirs was every Monday and Wednesday. But again, they have a Facebook for both, their regular promotion itself as well as their
Yep.
training school. That's NRG as well as Showcase. They have one for both their promotion and their training school,
That's
as
awesome.
well as Top Rope. Top Rope has Lockup, uh, Lockup Academy, which was, I believe, started by Spike Dudley.
Mm.
Well, meaning the
Yeah.
name of it, I
Spike
believe, was
Dudley.
started by it. But
I remember him.
yeah, I mean, they have it like every Monday and Tuesday. It was Tuesdays and Thursdays, but they just changed it every Monday and Tuesdays down at the PAL from 7 to 9. Again, just look up either Top Rope or Lock Up Academy. Both are on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as well. Or just go there in person. I know that they just had an open house on Monday, Top Rope. And yeah, so I mean, there's definitely lots of places you can go today, within just Massachusetts itself and Rhode Island, that has a training facility or a place to go to get training to be a professional referee and or professional wrestler. And there's also way more promotions out there too. I mean, not all
Big
of them
time.
have a training facility, but for those
Mm-hmm.
that do, it's good to take advantage of it.
That's right.
Show your commitment, show up every week. Just pay your dues.
Oh yeah.
I mean, yes, it's a lot of hard work. There's a lot of
Right.
sacrifice, because there isn't any sport that you go into. But in the end, personally, I feel it's all worth it, and it makes
Sure.
you a much better person.
Honestly, Junior, you're not wrong. I mean, how many times have we talked about this, Tony? Like we talked about this. Whether it's Impact, AEW, WWE. You want to make it to those companies? Bust your ass, put the work in, pay your dues.
Yeah.
If you don't, if you've never sacrificed to struggle for success, you will never deserve to earn it. You have to struggle for success. It's never handed to you on a silver platter. You're not born with a silver spoon in your mouth. You want luxury? Go work for it. You want a great life? Go work for it. You want to take care of your family? You got to work for it. That's the way that it is in the wrestling business, too. You want to take care of yourself, your kids, your wife, your children, your family, everybody? Put the work in, pay your dues, sacrifice, step up and show why you're different. Get noticed
Oh yeah,
and get the
definitely.
attention.
But
And
like, I
and
like
the
watching Diamond Dallas Page.
It's just as simple. Like it's
Um,
not rocket science. It's not.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, true. And like I was saying, I watch a lot of Diamond Dowidge's page,
Yeah, DDP.
inspiration videos, and I remember one that I came across. He's like, "Let those who are jealous be jealous,
Yeah,
and just keep doing you.
that's right.
Just be you. Work for you. Just chase your dreams and
Amen.
work towards your goal. Nobody can stop you
Amen.
but you." And I mean, I just saw a video the other day, even though it's not a wrestler, but they were basically saying the same thing, which was a famous country rapper, now country singer, Jelly Roll. And even he was saying, nobody can stop you but you. You know, you, you can achieve anything you put your mind to. And I remember when I was growing up, even my mother used to tell me that the most powerful tool on earth is your
Absolutely.
mind, because you can achieve anything you put your mind to. Just never give up. And I
I
mean,
think it
besides all
owned Taylor
that,
Swift who said, "Hey,
oh yeah, definitely. And I mean, real quick
but
too,
Yep.
before I go, if you don't mind me asking, like, I
Sure.
know Tony, like, you had hit me up and told me that XUC had a pretty good turnout. I know you were one of them that told me that, besides Maniac Mike and Ronan Lavelle. But personally, like, which was your favorite match there that night? I know Ronan told me, I guess,
well,
supposedly he got to beat someone up. I wish I was there to
which
see that.
it was great to see Kevin Chase back.
Okay.
Kevin is rehabbing an injury, towards a muscle in his knee. Ronan get in the ring for the first time. It's always great to be there to see someone get into the ring for the first time,
So
their
he really
first
did
ever
get in the
match.
ring, like
They're
you
going to
said.
remember that. Well, he did octagon. He got into the steel cage. So for the first, he made his debut. Great to see that. But there was something called a Tiverton tough hands, because it was a grudge match, and the two fellows in that match, they were all in the ring and the octagon. It was maybe a little bit reminiscent of ECW because thumbtacks were involved, curtain rods were involved, and steel chairs were involved. So it's going to be Daddy and the Sheik Ahmed, but it was better to see it in person because you can't beat seeing stuff like that in person.
Yeah.
Watching it on video is great, but seeing stuff like that up close, if you're a wrestling fan, is just a fantastic opportunity.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
absolutely. And Junior, I just need to let you know as well that we still got to get into WWE, as I just got the clock from Ron that we're down to 15 minutes.
all right. Yes,
But
definitely.
hey, seriously, thank you for coming on
Wow.
for the 15 minutes that you were able to. We are praying for your dad still, folks. Keep his father in your prayers, please. We've been doing this for a few weeks on Falls Count Anywhere. That's not going to stop. All right, all right. We believe God is good. We believe faith is real. Faith is there. Hope is there. Let's keep praying for a miracle. All right.
Yes, thank you. And I actually got to go myself, anyways. I got some things I got to do. That's why I'm actually calling from my car. So I'll talk to you later.
All right, Junior. Until next week, my friend. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, folks. That was Junior, Mr. X Junior. All right, now Tony. With all that being said, let's get.
Finally, an actual legend on the show.
Hey, hey, dude. I
Which,
called you a legend. What the hell?
by the way, if you're ever X Junior is the real legend. If you're ever bored, you're on YouTube. Look up some of the old matches from the original Mr. X, X Junior's father-in-law. Man, he had some
Yeah.
barn burners back in the day in Boston Garden, all around Rhode Island.
Sure. So Tony, getting back to Money in the Bank. Something else from the men's ladder match that also turned into this. Logan Paul might be feuding with Ricochet. Two of the
Yeah.
most highest flyers in this company. I think Ricochet might show him a little veteran experience there because he's been around for 20 years. So we'll see how that goes. And then going down the line,
And there's been rumors for ages. There's
Yeah.
been rumors for ages about Ricochet finally getting a big push. You know, even
Finally.
when they had 205 Live, that was a Ricochet and, you know, an opportunity for him
Yeah.
to really progress and shine. And then that, of course, got canceled a few years ago. So this might be finally the shot for Ricochet to
Yeah,
get
maybe
a,
he can
a
finally
big,
get a
big
shot,
push.
yeah.
And it also shows Logan Paul as someone that's going to be willing to wrestle week by week and not just at big
Sure.
pay-per-views. So
Sure.
there's an opportunity there, too, for him to prove himself.
Yeah, man, I feel that there. So for the women's tag team titles, Shayna Baszler turned on Ronda Rousey, and I think we know why. So Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, I got that one right. They would win. Not by that, though. But it looks like Rousey is going to leave WWE for good. And her last match could be at SummerSlam against Baszler. That's going to be interesting as far as I'm concerned. But that's as far as I'm going to go with that. I'm happy that Morgan and Rodriguez got them back. Awesome. This one, unfortunately, I also got right, even though I picked the heel. Gunther. He's retained the Intercontinental title against Matt Riddle. It was a good fight. But one or two surprises, Tony.
Yeah.
Drew McIntyre, who's been gone since WrestleMania, and the rumors swirling around that he was going to not resign with WWE and go to AEW, that's not even close. He even admitted it during the bump when he was on. He said, those rumors, not true. I'm here. I'm staying here. We might see him finally win a title in front of fans. That might be a SummerSlam. Don't know. Might be. But we're hoping.
And he wasn't carrying around the sword. And he wasn't carrying around the sword anymore. And he kind of had more of a laid back vibe to I think it's going to go more towards he's going to be a traditional tough guy, like a traditional bruiser, as opposed to the whole Celtic look, you know, with the kilt and the sword and all that. So that might be a little bit easier for him to get over just because it's more relatable as just, you know, a regular fighter.
Yeah, because the truth is,
although I did think it was cool when he had the sword and he cut the ropes open.
Honestly, I don't know if that's going away. Not sure, but he still has a little bit of the Scottish psychopath in him a little bit still. Like, I still think he has that just a little bit. Now, moving on down the line, Tony. This one was an absolute ass kicking. I got this one right. The American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes against Dominic. I mean, come on. Like, Dominic Mysterio against him? I don't think so. So that's as far as I'm going to go there because that was a squash, and I already knew that. But guess what? Surprise number 2. John Cena returned to WWE to pitch WrestleMania being in London. That was interesting that he had with Grayson Waller.
Talk about the roof coming off the place.
Oh, my God, did the roof explode. I was watching it, and honestly, I'm like, I'm being trolled right now. Like, I'm being trolled. This can't be real. But then I hear the I'm like, what the hell? He's here. I'm like, what the F? He's here.
Yeah.
I see him. I'm like, you know, but unfortunately, someone said he makes too much money to come back to WWE. Yeah. We already know. But you know what? He goes back with the fans. He doesn't care about the money anymore. He's already made too much. And that's why he's back. He cares about the fans. I want him, Tony, to either break the record or become a Grand Slam champion. He hasn't won the Intercontinental title yet. What if that's the dream match we could see? Him versus Gunther. And he finally becomes Grand Slam champion.
That would be a classic.
What if that becomes an IC Open challenge? You don't know. I really thought he was going to beat Theory. I wanted him to beat Austin Theory at WrestleMania. A lot of people did, even though he was the start of WrestleMania. But, you know, we're hoping that some point this year, Cena's going to be able to be more of a provider for this company and get more involved in a match versus just be out there. But just as an impact, though, he's still making an impact 20 years later. You know, 21 years. There's no one like Cena. There never will be again, Tony. I'm telling you. This one was a shocker. Tell me when Tom lies. Go ahead. Tell me I'm telling lies.
I had read going to be Bray Wyatt. So, I'm waiting for Bray Wyatt to show up and waiting for Bray Wyatt to show up. Of course, he did not show up, but John Cena
Yeah.
did. So you're absolutely right, though. That would be a classic matchup of, the American versus Gunther. And I don't know if it's a situation where that would happen overseas or if that would happen here or maybe even in Boston when they come through. But talk about another opportunity for the roof to just blow right off the place.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the women's Money in the Bank. Io Sky. I picked Becky Lynch. I thought she was going to get the opportunity.
Yeah.
She got handcuffed to Bayley by Io. That's interesting for how that ended. But again, so indifferent getting a push. I'm not going to say no to that. So, honestly, that was that one. And then, hey, Seth Rollins. He retains the World Heavyweight title. Finn Balor couldn't beat him again. I love it. Keep that thing on Rollins. Give him a good run. Let someone deserving take it off him if it has to. And then we get to the main event, my man. The Bloodline Civil War. Not only did the Usos win against Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa, for the first time in 3.5 years, Roman Reigns has been defeated via pinfall. And guess who?
Yeah.
Jey
1, 2, 3, clean pin.
Jey Uso. The man who almost 3 years ago that had to align himself with him because of the I Quit match at Hell in a Cell during COVID, finally silenced critics and burned that demon to the ground. And guess what? We might potentially be seeing that for the undisputed title at SummerSlam. Obviously, Tony, you're still over 2 weeks still, right? So so once the card gets closer, it'll be interesting to see what's going to be on the card for SummerSlam. Because the truth is, it's going to Ford Field in Detroit, August 5th. It's going to be interesting seeing what this company's going to do with this event. I think it's going to be good. I mean, finally, the Usos get the monkey off their back, but now there's one problem. You still have to dethrone Reigns. Who's going to do it? And I said flat out, Tony, it's either going to be Jimmy, it's either going to be Jay, or it's going to be Cody. No one else in this company makes sense. The one that would have made sense to me would have been Lesnar, but he lost 3 times to Reigns. And unfortunately, that stipulation is still true almost a year to the day. Last year's SummerSlam, last man standing. As long as Reigns is champion, Lesnar can never challenge for the title again. There's a rumor going around right now that they're predicting him and Cody as the main event for WrestleMania 40 when it comes to Philly. We'll cross that later. I don't buy that right now. But you know what? Cody winning the World Heavyweight title would definitely mean he finishes the story. Because it wasn't just the WWE title, Tony. The World Heavyweight title, Dusty never won. Cody wins that, the story's finished. But it could be another chapter.
Yeah.
Uniting the titles, but I don't think that's ever going to happen, and I hope that doesn't happen again. It's about time Raw gets the World Heavyweight title back, and they have a separate champion that's the flagship. That's what we're looking at right now. I think it's better that way, personally. Split champions, don't combine them. Because the thing is, I hate right now what's going on. Lesnar is another roadblock for Cody. We might get part 3 of SummerSlam. Might. Next week on Raw, we'll get that confirmed. I'm just saying, Tony. We still can't understand why Lesnar targeted Cody after WrestleMania and why it's been 3 matches with him potentially. Why did Lesnar target him? We still don't have an answer. And even though he's talking now, No lie. He talks.
Yeah.
He talks. Still can't get
No
still
Paul
can't get the
Heyman.
answer out of him. It's like, what the hell? You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. Oh, also, just as a side note here, we also apparently are available on Spotify, Google, and what were the other ones? Amazon, Red Circle, and TuneIn. I remember that. Thank you, Ron, for pulling that up. So, guys, we just landed more platforms. So, our goal is to get our goal is still get more than 100 followers on YouTube. We're at 1,007. Guys, just keep on bringing love to us. Just keep on helping us, because that's how we're going to better this channel. We're going to better us. And Tony, I think to wrap this up here with WWE, because I want to get your input on this. If you wanted to make any changes for SummerSlam from Money in the Bank, and you wanted to see some transitions being made, what changes would you want to see as a fan?
Well, it's interesting because people are so storyline that even this past week on SmackDown, they jumped into the 3 million viewer level on the Bloodline storyline during a talk segment, which is like unheard of for SmackDown in that weird time slot. But now it seems like they're going to try to blow up all the factions all at once. And that necessarily does not make sense to me as a
Sure.
fan. Am I going to be able to follow the fact that Damian Priest's group is blowing up at the same time that Gunther's group is blowing up at the same time that the Bloodline's blowing up? But when you think about the Bloodline and the depth that they could go with that story of Samoa Joe, of different people that you could bring in. Jacob Fatu's out in Major League Wrestling. Nia Jax is related to all those folks. The Rock's daughter is wrestling now. That Bloodline storyline could go on for ages and ages and generations, and it could go on forever.
I think it could still, Tony. Solo doesn't look like he's going anywhere. I mean, you never know.
Yeah, he's looking good. Yeah.
Yawn of the Dead. Yeah, thank you for the comment. By the way, it's good year, not Yawn of the Dead, stupid. Anyway, sorry. Tony, go ahead, please. Continue.
But I think, the next thing, like you just mentioned, that's what I like to see is a solid feud, a solid opponent for Cody Rhodes, something that they could really get into, build the story from, maybe someone from a different federation or someone that comes up from NXT that, it's not going to be the squash thing anymore, and, something that he could really sink his teeth into. And like you said, a little bit more action with that intercontinental championship, I think would be cool too. I think a lot of people really enjoy that belt. They like to see it move around, and LA Knight or Shinsuke again, it would be cool to see that belt jumping around a little bit more.
Very, very strong points. Very, very good points. So, Tony, before we say goodbye, is there anything else you would like to add?
I can't think of anything we haven't covered in the past. We're looking at an hour and 5 minutes so far. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, longest show we've actually done since. Spill anything, it's time for yawning paper towels. Dude, whoever's saying this, shut the hell up, will you? Like, honestly, I'm getting sick of the puns and just these corny-ass jokes. They're stupid. Anyway, on a serious note, Tony, if you're good, then I think I'm good, and I'm going to close this out. So, Tony, once again, I appreciate you being here, and I'm looking forward to our next one, man. Thank you so much. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, the man right here, legendary wrestling promoter, Tony Jones. So, folks, on the card for our next week's broadcast, any more updates on AEW and Impact if Tony joins us? Mr. X Jr., updates with him. And then for WWE, it's going to be Raw and SmackDown as we get ready for SummerSlam in less than 3.5 weeks from Ford Field in Detroit. Sold out, by the way. It's sold out. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. So, on behalf of Tony Jones, Mr. X Jr. and my dad, Edward Dunn, and the man behind the scenes, Ron Rugo. This is Erik Dunn saying so long, and thank you so much for once again joining us right here on Falls Count Anywhere, and also from my home in Bridgewater, Massachusetts. This has been a presentation of Falls Count Anywhere here on the Rhode Island Broadcasting Network. And guys, once again, every Wednesday at 5 on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. We're also now available on Google, on Amazon, and on the TuneIn podcast, as well as Spotify. Please look at us there. Grow this thing with us. Even on Redfin, too. Grow with us. And be part of our love. And be part of our fan base. And, you know, we are just going to keep building this. We're going to get stronger. And, you know, I think for a fan of wrestling, for like WWE, this is the place you want to be. We're real. We're honest. We are legit. But we're also not full of it either. We have humor. We have some fun. Because that's what this business is about. If you don't love what you do, then guess what? It's not work. You're actually doing your dream. So, guys, on behalf of all that, this is Erik Dunn, and I'm saying so long to all of you, and thank you all so much for watching and listening.